What's good with it, Black Goose TV family? Double salute as always. I hope y'all having an absolute amazing Monday. Or at the very least, I hope y'all Monday is going better than mine, especially your entire weekend. Because I had the craziest weekend, the craziest Monday, but we here nonetheless. I'm here with the Fluence Boxing News. I got a reaction video for y'all. And without further ado, we talking about my guy, old man Bob Earl, right? One of the most prestigious promoters in the boxing game. Maybe not because of everything he's done, but of course, that's obviously going to be one of the reasons why he's very prestigious. But me, why he's so prestigious is because, man, he's damn near 100 and he's still going. He's still active. He's at every press conference, every Zoom conference, every big boxing event. Like, if I would have known no better, I would think old man Bob would be in his like late 60s. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, he's a prestigious promoter, Hall of Famer promoter, just because this man is a walking ghost. Literally, it's like I don't understand how he can do so much at the age he's at and be so functionable, man. I ain't got nothing but respect for it. You know what I'm saying? I hope I can live that long and be as functionable, you know what I'm saying, and be functioning the way he's moving, you know what I'm saying, be able to respond and all that good stuff. But anyways, I'm not over here to give too much props to old man Bob. I'm just being 100 with it. But with that being said, apparently he has some news and opinion, bias, rumors. I don't know what to say about this. I won't be able to know until I hear it. You feel me? I don't know if he's saying this, basically off of bitterness, jealousy, because we know that Terrence Crawford and old man Bob, they still got the lawsuit joint going. We know Terrence Crawford left Top Rank on bad terms. So I don't know where this is coming from. I haven't watched it yet. This is why this is a reaction video. I'm gonna watch it with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can decide in real time. I can decide in real time if he's being honest, if he has an inside scoop we did not know about, if he's, being like, yo, don't listen to all these bullshit ass YouTubers or, these boxing outlets. I'm telling you the real right now. This fight is not going to happen. I don't know what the case may be. All I can do is listen to it and give y'all my opinion and see. But apparently, based off of what I'm seeing off this particular title, which y'all see off the title below when I'm reading in articles, Bob Earl does not believe Terrence Crawford versus Earl Smith is made. And he's saying all of these rumors, all of this shit that you're hearing, the what ifs, the speculations, the possibilities even coming from Showtime, Steven Espinoza, and etc. Don't listen to this shit. It's bullshit. It's not real. They just cap it and they just keeping you on a string like the old puppets y'all is, so y'all can feel like y'all actually a part of something big when it's never going to happen, but it keeps y'all's eyes on the sports. We'll see. I don't know. That's why we're here. We're going to figure it all out. Before we get into this reaction video, hit that like button below. And while you're doing it, subscribe to the channel. You already know what I'm talking about. Road to 5K before the end of the year. Help your boy out, please. Comment on the channel to help with the algorithm, and then of course notification game, so whenever I'm dropping this content, you feel me? So now with all that being out of the way, you see I did out twice, so what I'm saying, I'm really getting shit out of the way. But now with all that being in the background, in the back rear, you feel me, let's go ahead and get into the whole reason why I even clicked on this video. We're gonna go ahead and get this reaction. Old man Bob Earl apparently has an insider scoop on the truth of Spence and Crawford being made, and it's really possibly going to happen this November. Or have we all just been falling for the same shit we've been falling for when it comes to boxing, and just hoping and praying that one of the biggest fights in the world happened, but in reality, it's the same old, and ain't shit changed but a motherfucking day in the name. You feel me? Let's go ahead and get into it.
Yes, but you do have so much experience with the people. I've just got to ask you about it. Spence Crawford is taking quite a while to get finalized. Any observations from that situation?
Well, same problem.
Yeah.
It's a big fight. It has tremendous interest from people who follow boxing, but that doesn't necessarily translate into revenue from pay-per-view, which is the biggest source because of the piracy. And
I want to add this off of what old man Bob just said right there is, it always astounds me when it comes to boxing fans, where we'll be so critical of fighters getting fights happen. Like, oh, Terrence is scared to fight Earl, or Earl is scared to fight Terrence, or, Keith Thurman is scared to fight Earl, or Earl is scared to fight Boots. We say all these different type of weird shit, right? Where we're just putting all the blame on the fighter being scared to fight someone else, when that tells me whenever someone says someone is not scared, like whenever I hear a fan or someone who enjoys boxing saying that boxer is scared to fight another boxer, it tells me that you have never had a craft that you put a lot of time into and believed into for a certain period of your life and really had love for it. Because if you have, you understand when you do something like that over a period of time, when you put a lot of time into a craft, into an art, you're not scared of shit. The only thing you're scared of is yourself. And will I disappoint myself? But you're never scared of being like, if I put this out there, someone might say this, someone might say this, someone might, nah. You don't care about none of that because that's your art. You're speaking for yourself. And it's the same thing with boxing. Like a lot of these boxers, they get to a point where they're so confident in themselves. They want to see how good they are. So they want to fight the best. I've always been an advocate, ever since I've started this YouTube channel. It'd be like, y'all, man, trying to put everything on the fighters is like either you guys are it's like a lot of you guys are very young and you don't understand business, or you just want to be so biased and in love with the fighters that you love that you don't understand like these fighters don't have shit to do with who they're going to be fighting next, right? There's a whole entity deciding what's going on. So I'm like, when I hear, this from Bob, it's like, it just goes back to saying where it's like, a lot of these hardcore boxing fans is like, we should make the Spence versus Crawford fight happen. But them same hardcore boxing fans, they're not going to buy the pay-per-view. See what I'm saying? They're not going to support the fight, right? They're not going to do everything they can to make sure that this fight is one of the biggest fights possible. And this is why I give props to the UFC, is because a lot of people say, UFC fans are toxic. But they're toxic to the point where they make sure that the people, the cards that need to generate revenue or need to be talked about, they're toxic enough where they push that shit. As boxing fans, man, we're not toxic enough. You know what I'm saying? We're toxic to, the boxers we love, which doesn't help generate into big fights. We need to be toxic about events happening. We need to be toxic about being neutral about promotions. Like, we need to stop being so caught up in, I love Earl and I love Terrence Crawford. Well, if I love Terrence, I got to be with Top Rank. If I love Earl, I got to be with PBC. So that means all the PBC welterweights are the best. That means Top Rank has great welterweights. Like, fuck all that. We need just to be fans of the fighters and be like, man, if I want Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence to fight, I will pay whatever it takes to have that happen. I don't care who they're up under. But we have been so caught up as boxing fans in not just who the boxer is that we love, but also the promotional company. So that's the unfortunate thing. It's like, really, we could break the barriers. Like fans, boxing fans, we could change this whole shit when it comes to boxing. But you guys are so predicated. You guys are so focused on is the fighter with PBC, Showtime, TMT, DAZN, Matchroom, Frank Warren Promotions, Golden Boy Promotions, Top Rank. Like, that's all y'all care about. Y'all got a favorite fighter, but then it's like, okay, who's their promotional company? Because whoever their promotional company is, I have to be 100% for. Like, nah, nigga, just be for the fighter, bro, and just look at talent. But anyways, man, that was my little rant. Let's go ahead and finish this. Thank you, Bob, for bringing that out of me.
The fighters realize how big a fight it is, and a lot
of y'all boxing fans is fickle. A lot of y'all niggas love watching this shit, but y'all y'all don't really know what this shit is about. Y'all don't really enjoy the sport. Y'all don't really appreciate them putting their lives on the line, man. Y'all fake.
That they want to get paid big amounts of money, and the promoter, in this case PBC, has to look at it and say, hey, we'll put it on, we'll give you nice guarantees, but you got to really live from the upside, which the fighters realize now will not develop, will probably not develop. Wow. So again, unless somebody wants to subsidize that fight, I don't know how it gets done.
Wow. That's a darn shame, Bob. I mean, that's really a changing dynamic of the sport. And I know this is...
So I don't know if you guys understood anything that he just said right there, but he was basically saying that he's saying the money's not there. He's saying Terrence Crawford, hardcore fans love him. Errol Spence, the hardcore fans love him. But he's basically saying, kind of to like minimalize everything or summarize everything. He's saying, despite all these fans and hardcore fans saying we want this fight to happen, we're clamoring for the fight to happen, we hate these celebrity boxing matches with Jake Pauls and Ryan Garcia calling out Tank Garcia, the casual fans will pay money to see these fights. We're talking about Earl Spence for Terrence Crawford, where it's strictly a hardcore fan base fight. A lot of you hardcore fan bases, a lot of you hardcore fans won't pay for the fight. You won't bring enough revenue in comparison to casual. So you have to understand, as much as us hardcore fans want to talk about casual is really what carries the sport revenue-wise and makes certain fights happen. Whether it's a fight that happens that we don't want to see, or it's a fight that we want to, or a fight that happens that we do want to see, is all measured and carried off of a casual fan. So he's basically saying, he's like, hey, the amount of money these guys are asking for, they're not going to make that shit back. So the only way for this fight to actually happen is whatever promotional company decides to take it on financially, they're going to have to be willing to take a hit and be willing to cover whatever cost that they don't make back in revenue-wise and pay these guys big bags. Which some would say, oh, well, what about Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury? Maybe they did do that for Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. That's because both PBC and Top Rank said, we're going to get our money back in full if we do this. And now look at us 4 or 5 years later. It's one of the biggest trilogies in heavyweight, and they're probably still making money off of that, even though at the time it didn't seem like it was going to be a big revenue type shit. Because everyone was saying Tyson Fury wasn't known in America. Everyone was saying Deontay Wilder isn't that big a star in America. Now, 3 years later, they invested in that. They probably subsidized it, and they thought it was worth it, and they ended up being right because it's the biggest trilogy ever. So if they see that type of value in Earl Spence versus Terrence Crawford, of course they're going to move forward with that. But do you really see that? The way I see Spence versus Terrence Crawford is going to be a one-off. Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose, and that's it. After that, they're going to move on with their careers. Why? Because they're so goddamn late in their careers. There's no time for this to be a big trilogy fight or to make it a big deal and make loads of money off it. That's my personal opinion. So I'm over here. I'm agreeing with Old Man Bob. I'm one of the few who does agree with Old Man Bob.
Over the course of the last 2-3
I've
years,
with Old Man Bob for
especially.
a long time.
But this issue of piracy is something that I think everyone involved in the sport is really going to need to get their arms around and figure out a solution. Or, you know,
one solution
piracy doesn't matter if the fight's big enough.
And if you pay big guarantees to the fighters, you can't crap around with experiments. But you look at our friends in the UK who still do very robust numbers on pay-per-view. And you say, why? Is it because
it's because their pay-per-view is cheap?
English fans are so honest.
No,
they won't tap into a stream.
Their pay-per-view is fucking $12.
Because it's a much smaller cost to get the pay-per-view in the UK.
Yeah, I can hate Bob, but this nigga be real, bro.
25 pounds for a really big fight.
It's fucking $12.
And people then don't bother to steal the signal. They are willing to pay.
Think about this. Bob is fucking 100 years old, and he's literally alluding to the fact that pay-per-views cost too much. This isn't not new revolution or revelation I said revolution. This is not new revelation when it comes to Bob. Bob's whole entire system is built off of free TV. He doesn't believe in pay-per-views. So it's basically him going back into his back pocket and saying, you know, everyone wants to keep on saying pay-per-views are the way to go. But if you look at it, hardcore boxing fans are not supporting these superstars or boxing stars through pay-per-views because of the expenses. Think about if Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence had the same pay-per-view prices as Anthony Joshua, they would be the biggest stars in the world. I'm buying a pay-per-view at $15 every time. I don't give a fuck. $20, cool. $25, cool. As soon as you reach $50, I'm not fucking paying for that. I don't care how hardcore I am. So I get it. And Bob is basically saying, yo, this is why I do the free TV shit. And he's basically saying, like, yo, all these guys come over and they want to be mad at me, like Terrence Crawford or whatever case. They want to be mad because I don't have a pay-per-view model. But nigga, you made some of the biggest money you've ever made on this free TV shit, and you didn't have to be a pay-per-view star. Terrence, you're making over $1 million since 2014 being a cable guy. People do not do that when it comes to boxing. You have to be pay-per-view status if you're with fucking PBC, Showtime, Matchroom, Top Rank. Excuse me, not Top Rank. Golden Boy Promotions for you to make over $1 million. Terrence Crawford was getting that bag off of free TV.
The freight. But if you start, as we do here, you have $80 pay-per-views. That's a whole different exercise.
Yes, it is, for sure. Great points. I wonder if that could materialize.
Well, the problem is that
Niggas greedy.
it's a theory.
Mhm.
If we drop the cost of the pay-per-view down to $20 or $25, which is what we started with on pay-per-view, would people then forego pirating the signal and pay that money to watch the fight legitimately?
Okay.
And
I see what he's saying. He said a lot of these people, do they want it? A lot of people don't want to take the chance of being like, all right, I already got them paying $65 for a pay-per-view. So you're telling me for one pay-per-view, you want me to take a chance, drop it to 25, see if that ends up working. What if it doesn't work? I get the same amount of pay-per-view buys. I've lost this amount of money, this amount of money in revenue and streams and all that different stuff, all because I wanted to try something. Like no one wants to have an established business model and then throw that all away because I want to try something. I understand that.
how do you then experiment? Because if you're wrong, you just for example, if you figured at the high price to get 250,000 buys at $80,
right?
And now
Yep.
you go to $25
and you get the same
on
thing.
a big fight.
You lose so much money. Or even 300.
Who's to say you don't stay at 250,000?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
my inclination is that you reduce the piracy in that way. But again,
Never
to
know.
put up hard-earned money on the hope, that's not a good business decision.
I agree with Bob completely. Now this we kind of went to a whole different thing. It's a longer video than usual when it comes to pay-per-views and stuff, but I agree with him, man. I've known, like, it's been interesting to me over my years of watching, following boxing, and not me. Like, I've never been the one to kind of go into like, semantics or just follow the crowd. The criticism when it comes to Bob Arum, when it comes to Eddie Hearn, it's like I understand it because a lot of you guys want to be for fighters, but it's like you guys work. You have a YouTube, you're making money, so obviously you understand the business aspect. So for you to totally just shit on the business aspect of it doesn't make much sense, but it works for clicks, right? You're gonna get a lot more clicks bashing Bob, talking shit, calling him racist, than you will doing what I do, where I'm saying, like, I get where he's coming from if you're talking about business aspect when it comes to boxing. So it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. This video was already longer than I wanted it to be. If you guys made this far, absolutely respect. If you didn't, I totally understand. Hit the like button below. Subscribe to the channel. Road to 5K. Comment on his joint notification gang. On the Arnold Schwarzenegger side of the game, I'll be back with more boxing.